That's what the shares for a schus for the people fighting in Israel, and for a food for those who were hurt. The nishmat, those who were unfortunately killed. Yeah, lots of, they need a lot of help, a lot of tefillas. Before we go into the halachas of the 9 days, I'd like to give a small akdama. I mentioned part of this last year, but I think it's good to chazer every year. There was the Siva Shalom brings down that there was once a general, he calls him Plato, who came to Yirmiyah and said to him, why the Yidden were crying over the Churban Abayis. After the Churban Abayis, he says the Yidden were crying over the Churban Abayis. And he said to him, why are you crying? It's finished. It's done. Why cry over spilled milk? It's finished. Why are you crying over the Churban Abayis? And the truth is this question, unfortunately a lot of people wonder today days, so many years ago he says the Churban Abayis. We know we have to cry over the Churban Abayis, but to eternalize it, we have to know the real reason. What's the whole bechiyah of the Churban Abayis that happened so many years ago? Sounds like a funny question, but we all know deep down we're trying to struggle. What's the real bechiyah that we're having? What's the real avelus that we're having in these days? So that's what Plato asked Yirmiyah. And Yirmiyah told him, I have an answer to this question, but it's an answer that you won't understand. Yes, you won't be able to understand this answer, and he didn't answer him. And the Siva Shalom says over there, what is the answer? What did Yirmiyah mean? And he says it in a few words, and he says that he thought that the Yidden were crying tears of the past. What happened? The Bayis is not here anymore, and we're finished with it, so we're crying of what we had. His mistake was, no, that when Jews cry today for the Churban Abayis, we're not crying for the past. We're crying for the future. And what does that mean? What it means is that when Yidden cry for the Churban Abayis, we're not crying that once upon a time there was a Beis HaMikdash, and once upon a time it was good for us. We're trying to show that we realize we're missing something, and we're hoping that that thing is going to come back. We know in Hilchas Avelus, someone loses a parent, so there's a certain amount of time a person's misabel for that loved one. After a certain amount of time, Hashem made shikchum in alev. You forget about it. You're supposed to forget about it. And it says if someone's misabel too much, it's not good either. There's a certain amount of Avelus time, a mourning period, that when someone loses something, a loved one, there's a mourning period for that loved one. But that has to pass. And that's the past. That's what happened. And to cry over a loved one is not a future, because that person's not coming back when Mashiach comes. But a Churban Abayis, it's not that way. The reason why Ad Hayom Hazeh was still crying over the Churban Abayis is because the crying over the Churban Abayis is not a crying of the past. It's a crying of the future. The Gemara says that anybody is not misabel karoi on the Churban Abayis, the Pasha said, it's a punishment. It's a punishment. The person's not zeicha to see the nechama when it comes. Mitzvah Hashem, Mashiach comes, he's not going to be zeicha to be part of that. But I think a different pshat could be that not pshat ain't zeicha v'roy ben nechama. So if someone doesn't realize what is missing, then when he gets it, he doesn't know what to do with it. Someone doesn't realize the value of, let's say, of a diamond, and they go ahead and they give the person that diamond, he doesn't even know what to do with it. So it's not a punishment to that person that if you don't realize the chshivas of diamonds, you're not going to enjoy it when you get it. It's a metzias. If you don't realize the chshivas of a diamond, so when you get it, you don't know what to do with it even. Same thing here. Any zeicha v'roy ben nechama means a person who is not misabel in Yerushalayim, meaning he doesn't realize what we're missing. If we don't have the Beis HaMikdash, he won't be zeicha v'roy ben nechama, because when it comes, it's not going to mean anything to him. Sheikh said, comes and be a Beis HaMikdash, he's not going to realize what it means even. That's what it means, any zeicha v'roy ben nechama. So the crying that we have in the Beis HaMikdash is not a crying of the past, it's a crying for the future, so we should get it back. Chafetz Chaim has a bunch of little svarim. One of his svarim is called Tzipitza L'Yeshua, where the Gemara says, when someone comes, Lasa Lavai, after he dies, one of the questions they asked him was, Tzipisa Yeshua, did you wait for the redemption? Now, what does it mean waiting for the redemption? So the Chofetz Chaim has a few prokim on that, a small sefer on it, and he puts out a very interesting question. What's this question? The question is like this: we find that there's a stira in Chazal of what's going to happen when Mashiach comes. How Mashiach is going to come. He says in the pasuk it says, the Parshas Tetzavim, when's Mashiach going to come? When we do tshuva, and we're going to realize that we did something wrong, and we're going to then Hashem will return to us. After we do tshuva, then Hashem is going to return to us. That's what says the Parshas Tetzavim. If you open up a Gemara in Sanhedrin, the Gemara says not that way. The Gemara says the opposite. The Gemara says that we all know, at least parts of this Gemara. The Gemara says that Chevle Mashiach, when the time is right before Mashiach is going to come, the world is going to be at its lowest point. And it gives examples. The Gemara says Chutz B'Yazgi, and the order of Zekenim Yalbinu, Zekenim Yamdu B'nei Katanim, and we're going on a bus, and there's going to be an older person sitting down, and the kids are going to go over to him and say, "That's my friend's seat, please stand up," which unfortunately we see it today. I've seen it many times by Kadeshim in Shul. You come to Shul, and there's a kid reserving a seat for his friend, and a 60-year-old person has a chutzpah to sit down in that seat and tells him, "So it's my friend's seat." And throws him out, and he can't say anything to the kid. He's right. That's what's going to happen with Chevle Mashiach, and we see it happening. Unfortunately, we see it happening. That the world is going to be so low that automatically Mashiach is going to have to come. We're not going to have a choice in the matter anymore. So as the Chofetz Chaim, it's a stira. One place it says that Mashiach is going to come when we do tshuva, and the other place it says that Mashiach is going to come when the world is so low that there's no place else to go. So the Chofetz Chaim says, very interestingly, he says it's a teretz, and he says, no, before Mashiach comes, there's going to be two different groups of people. Meaning that it's going to be much harder in the years right before Mashiach. It's going to be much harder for somebody who wants to do good to do good. Because anybody who's going to want to do good, the world is going to be the opposite. And they're going to say how bad is really good. And when he's going to be trying to do the good, he's going to be fighting up against people who are telling him you're doing the wrong thing. So those Yechidim that are going to do good, says that's going to be one group of people. And they're going to do good no matter what. Then you're going to have on the other side that the world is going to be falling so low, and because of that, Mashiach is going to have to come. Because of that, Mashiach is going to have to come because there's no place else to turn. And he says, and those that are doing good, since they're standing out from the rest of the world who's so low, they're going to be at such a high madrega that that's a reason for itself that Mashiach is going to come. So basically, he says you're going to have two groups at that time. You're going to have groups who are going to go with the flow of the world that's falling and falling and falling. And you have people that are not going to go. They're going to go against the tide. They go against the flow. They're going to stay strong, steadfast. And it goes through Mashalim, about shul and davening and everything. It goes through all different types of Mashalim, what it's going to look like, how there's going to be a chidim who are going to stand up and say, no, we're not going with the flow of the world. We're going to... He's very into the chutzpah of kids. Truth is, today we see it. Today, unfortunately, you go to Chadarim and you go to places, you see that the kids rule, and if the teacher does something wrong, it's always the teacher's fault, right? And they have to always answer to the kids. In my days, if the teacher just said something, you never had to answer to the kid why the teacher did something. Today, no, we have to explain everything to them, and that's the right way. And today, that's the right way. If you do it the other way, it's wrong. Well, that's what the Chofetz Chaim speaks about. He says it's not that way. Talmud have to listen to the Gedolim even though they don't understand it. That's the way it should be. And it's going to be a time when it's not going to be that way. And those who fight against that flow, they're going to be a chidim and they're going to stand out. And then he goes to the whole thing and says, and pick your choice. That's the Chofetz Chaim. The Seif, the Chevle Mashiach, is going to be two Mahalchim, You pick your choice which way you want to do. Do you want to be from the Yechidim, who are sticking to Derech Hashem, or do you want to be like the ones who are going with the flow and slowly but surely falling off of it? And then he says, when it comes time, they're going to ask with Tzipisa Yeshua, what's going to be the question of Tzipisa Yeshua? Tzipisa Yeshua is going to mean, which side were you on? Which side were you on? Were you going with the flow, or no? We stayed steadfast in our ways, and we didn't go with the flow. That's how we explained it to Yeshua. So it's good to know in these days, when it's the 9 days, which was we misabel, what's the avelis that we have? The avelis is that first of all, the avelis is not for the past, it's for the future. We're hoping for the future. And hoping for the future means we realize what's good and what's bad, and we stick to the good to make sure that we're on the right side of the coin of what's going to bring Mashiach. It's a Gdama before we get to any of the halachas. There's two different halachas I wanted to speak about. There's one thing that we know about the 9 days. Everyone has their minhagim and the surah halachas of the 9 days. And there's also something of Zeichel Chorban. Two different things. One thing is all year round, Zeichel Chorban all year round, and then one thing we have during the 9 days. So first I'll speak about the 9 days a little bit, even though most of us are familiar with most of the halachas in the 9 days. And then I'd like to go into a little bit of the Zeichel Chorban all year round, which this, the Olam is not so familiar with. And the all year round Zeichel Chorban, unfortunately, it got lost a lot. In the 9 days, everybody knows basically what he could do, what he can't do. So this year, there is certain coolness of Shavuot Shechalboi and not Shavuot Shechalboi. So Ashkenazim, we have 9 days. We start from Rosh Chodesh, and we after Rechitza, Yalla wash, Yalla bathe, Basa v'yayin. We start from Rosh Chodesh Av. From Monday, yesterday, we started the 9 days. Sfardim are much more lenient, and they only have it Shavuot Shechalboi, which this year is only 2 days, Sunday and Monday basically. So they have more leniencies. And the truth is, if you look in the Gemara does not mention one word about starting from Rosh Chodesh. There are certain things. They're not to build the binyan shel simcha that you can't do from Rosh Chodesh. But the whole Issa, Basa v'yayin, and Rechitza doesn't start in the Gemara, doesn't say anything about Rosh Chodesh. So you see a Sephardi who's taking a haircut, or if he's eating Basa v'yayin, after in the 9 days, he's not a goy. He's not a goy. He's relying on the Gemara. The Ashkenazim, the Ramah says, we have the minig that we start all this from
He's
the beginning.
Relying on the Gemara, or he's relying on his Masorah?
He's relying on the Masorah.
From the Gemara.
Yeah, the Mechaber. The Mechaber passes like the Gemara.
So he's relying on the Shulchan Aruch.
He's relying on the Shulchan Aruch. Yeah, we don't rely on the Gemara for anything. We don't pass it from Gemara. We pass it from Shulchan Aruch. As a matter of fact, certain things that are not brought down in Shulchan Aruch is a question why it's not brought down. But Psak we go from the Shulchan Aruch.
But then they do slichas the whole of it.
Yeah, you don't gain everything. You don't gain everything.
You're Sephardi now and become a Ashkenaz a month from now. Why not? Come on.
So I'm just going to speak about two aspects, which is the Rechitzas Begadim, washing clothing, and Rechitzas Aguf. Speaking of those two aspects, the Basa v'yayin I'm not going to get into now. So we all know that there's an issur to wash clothing. There's two issurim there. There's one issur to wear fresh clothing. That's one issur. So you have to make sure before the 9 days you put on fresh clothing. If someone forgot to, there's a heter or Shabbos to put it on, or they give all the heterim. But you're not supposed to wear fresh clothing. Now, if someone's clothing got dirty in a way that he can't wear it anymore, and he needs it to wear it. So this is very common by kids. By kids, this coolness if kids' clothing gets soiled, because I tell them to go ahead and wash kids' clothing because they need it. So that means a kid is allowed, if kid soils the clothing, allowed to wash it, and the kid's allowed to wear it. So washing it and wearing it is two different problems. Even if you're not going to wear clothing in the 9 days, there's also an issur to wash. You're not allowed to wash clothing in the 9 days, and the reason for that is because When you're busy washing clothing, you mesiach yadas from avelis. Because you're going to take your mind away from avelis. That's why you're not allowed to wash. People think the reason why you're not allowed to wash is because you're going to put it on. That's not the reason why. The reason why you're not allowed to wash, even to wear after the 9 days, after Tisha B'Av, is because through washing, you're taking your mind away from avelis. That's why you can't wash it.
What about give it to the laundry?
Huh?
Give it to the laundry.
Also not. You're not even give it to a guy to wash for you in the 9 days. If you give it to a guy before the 9 days, then it's okay if you wash in the 9 days because you didn't give it to him then. But to wash in the 9 days, even for after the 9 days, the reason is because you're going to take your mind away from the avelis. That's an issue. So now, if someone has something that's soiled, the person has his clothing dirty. He's going to leave it till after the 9 days, and it's going to get ruined because they have a stain. Let the stain stay for a week. There's a tatum to wash it out. Take that stain, rub something on it, make sure the stain comes out. You're okay. That you're allowed to do. But otherwise, something to wash, we know it's awesome. Kids' soiled clothing is a tatum. Now, rechitzas kol haguf, which is the big shiloh, the big question today. Most of us, I think most of us are begeder istnis today. I remember years ago, I was standing with a certain posek, and the person went over to this, goes back like 25 years ago. And the person tells him, can I take a shower in the 9 days? He says, of course not. You're not allowed to wash. He says, but how about if I'm an istnis? He says, what's called an istnis? So the person tells him, how about if I tell you that I haven't missed a day without a shower for the past 15 years? Am I an istnis? So the person goes, in 15 years, I never missed one day for the past 15 years. Okay, you're fine. You're an istnis. You can take a shower.
Shabbos?
No, it takes for Shabbos and after Shabbos. It takes for,
Well, that was the same thing for mikveh. Same meaning.
No what?
And if you go to mikveh every day,
Yeah.
Shabbos, and you can go even now.
Yeah. If you go, if someone's makbid and feels that's what goes to the mikveh today, he's allowed to go to the mikveh today, 100%. But that's more kal than rechitza. That's more kal than rechitza. Going to the mikveh is easier than rechitza. So the question is, who comes begeder istnis and who's not begeder istnis? Who's allowed to wash? Who's not allowed to wash? Cold water, hot water, soap, shampoo. That's where the questions come in.
Istnis means sensitive, right?
Mm-hmm. Even someone's very sensitive, who's sensitive to dirt. Today, we have to realize that in the times of Chazal, they didn't wash every day. It was a big deal to wash. Today, that we wash every single day, we trained ourselves that if there's a little dirt on us, it bothers us. So there is a lot of places going to make that in the 9 days, for someone who's makbid every single day taking a shower, never misses it, he has a cooler to take a shower in the 9 days. But there's the din of taking a shower in the 9 days. The real issue of rechitza is not that you have to be dirty. It's not the real issue of rechitza. The real issue of rechitza was tainug. Someone takes a hot shower, it's a tainug, it's enjoyment. It's enjoyment, it's pleasure. Shas is doing the rechitza. Right? Rechitza she'ein shel tainug, rechitza shel refuah is mutter. If someone needs rechitza, because for refuah, for medical reasons, even hot water, that's not called shel tainug, and it's brought down that it's mutter. Rechitza shel refuah, someone needs it for whatever the reason is, even hot, it's not called rechitza shel tainug. So the main issue of rechitza is rechitza shel tainug, a washing that you're having pleasure from the washing. Therefore, the people who give a tatum for an istnis to wash, the heter is, don't enjoy your shower. Don't enjoy it, just do it to get yourself clean. Now, it doesn't have to be freezing cold, that you can't go under it. It has to be that you could just get yourself clean. The way the magdir it is, don't have any enjoyment from the hot water. That's the way the magdir. Now, everyone has to ask their own Rav exactly if they ever get heter every day, every other day. I can't go into that because it depends on each person by himself.
So what happens for someone, myself, I love showering in cold water. Freezing cold water. I never use the hot water.
So then you're not enjoying.
So then I have to shower with hot water?
No. So you sound like my kid. My kids are so happy for 9 days, they don't have to take showers. And they don't have to have chicken. They can eat milkshakes the whole 9 days. So for them, they have to eat fleishiks and they have to take showers. No, but the thing is that hot water was a tainug, was a pleasure. If you never have a pleasure from your shower, that's another raya. There's another proof that when you take a shower, you're not doing it for a pleasure. You're doing it just to be clean. If it's doing it just to be clean, that's where the cool is coming. But someone's taking a shower just that he should be clean, that's where all the cool is coming. And that's most of the questions today. Most of the people taking showers today are to be clean. Someone's sitting in a bath, that's something else. Bath is a whole different child. Someone enjoys baths and takes baths once in a while, you're not going to find the heter so easily. Especially not the spas and so on. That is exactly what Chazal asked. A hot bath is exactly what Chazal asked. And for that you won't find heter so easily, because that is called shel tainer. Besides, someone is doing it for a fuah. If someone needs it for medical reasons, that's something else. But it is heter. So that's the Rechitza, and that's the Rechitza's begotten. The second thing I want to talk about is there's a whole similar in Shulchan Aruch of Lasa Zeichel L'Chorban. A person has to make a Zeichel L'Chorban. This is an all year round thing, nothing to do with Tisha B'Av. All year round thing. And if you look in the Mechaber, look in the Halacha, it's all from the Gemaras.
This is to remember the destruction.
This is to remember all year round Zeichel L'Chorban. To remember the destruction of the temple all year round, not just in the 9 days. Now, there's a lot of halachas here brought down. One famous thing that we all know is, breaking a glass by chasana is a zeichel l'chorban. That's what we do it for. Not to forget that we're in Galus. So there's a lot of halachas here. You're not supposed to paint your house totally. You're supposed to leave it amal amor. For some reason, the Adam was making on that, and it's brought down in the post game that people are making on that. But there's one thing that we don't find the kula in, and unfortunately, the world went all the way to the extreme to forget about this issue of Zeichel L'Chorban, which is music. Now, in halacha says, and here no one argues on this, that you're not allowed to stamazoi for no reason play music. It's also listen to music is also. Now we all know in Yerushalayim there was a separate thing that even by chasanas they don't have music, but that's nothing to do with the Zeichel L'Chorban. There was a ma'aser once in Yerushalayim, and they were called upon themselves because of that pogrom, never again to have music by chasanas. It's a separate thing in Yerushalayim. But in the whole world, there's an issur to listen to music. And it's referred to halacha here. It's also to hear any music. But for chasanas they will make them. The tzarech mitzvah to go in beis chasan v'kala hakol shari. So you have heter.
This is year round or the 9 days?
This is year round. Year round, it's also to listen to music. So Mechaber, it's also to listen to music. So the Gemara says, so the Mechaber says, if something happens, a good thing, you make a simcha, you're thanking Hashem, the minhag is you could do it. So that you could do. And the Gemara says, comes time to beis chasan v'kala, also everything is mutter. You're allowed to play music, everything is mutter. So in chasanas we have had to play music. Now what's in the gate to us? We don't really have music besides the chasanas or simchas. The gate to us is listening to tapes. Tapes is today's biggest shayla, and the place already many years ago already had the shayla, and they spoke about it. What's the answer to listen to tapes today? Tapes are music. What's the answer to listen to music today if you have the Zeichel L'Chorban? So it's interesting that most of the poskim have the same mahalach, and it's an interesting heter to come up with. To come up with the heter is that if someone is depressed, right, he's allowed to listen to music. Why? To take him out of that depression. That's called refuah. That's what they say. If someone's depressed and is listening to music to take him out of the depression, they call that's the refuah, and that's mutter. It's a mutter because of refuah. So the poskim take a kula and they say today most people are depressed. They don't say that fight.
We're all depressed because of korban abayis, so we're so we can listen to music.
Right. They say that should be the reason, but it's not. See, most people today, because so much going on, they need something to cheer them up a little bit. If you're not going to allow them to listen to music and to cheer them up, then it's going to be hard. People find the house is a lot. There's stress in the house. People are working. You put on a tape, you put on music, things calm down. Cleaning out for Pesach, you put on a tape in the house, things calm down, right? We see it all the time. Right? The kids stop fighting all of a sudden, the adults stop being barky all of a sudden, things calm down. So that's the heter.
What tapes are you listening to?
It's not shiurim. We find that out. We find out that tapes calm people down, music calms. So the person give a heter. If they listen to tapes, listen to music, you have a heter because it's calming people down, and they don't say it first refuah, but they hint to it. So as if it's a refuah, and that's the heter. Fine. So you have a heter for tapes. That's fine. But the problem comes when everything breaks loose, or matter all types of music. And a famous example is concerts. Concerts, a lot of places today will say, what's the heter for a concert? Concert is not a chasana. So what is it? It's a fundraiser. Right? So they give the heter a fundraiser. Right? They give the heter the concerts are a fundraiser. Okay? If you're doing it for a mitzvah, you have a heter. You have a heter. Right? If it's a tzorech mitzvah, that's the heter. So they're saying concerts are a mitzvah.
You don't have to go to the concert to buy a ticket.
Yeah, you can pay with, you're right. You can pay without it. But the people making the concert, the only way they get the money is through making a concert. People give money. So that, is a big shout out the place that's called the heter or not. It's called tzorech mitzvah or not. But definitely concerts that aren't a fundraiser, or even some that people have things that they have not a simchas chasam and kalam. They have gatherings and have live music. There, you have a zeichel churban. And even to put on a tape for background music, you also have to know what the heter is. So to go ahead and break loose and say all music is mutter, to forget about this halacha, most people, you get mentioned to them that it's also to listen to music. And you say, well, where's the listen to 9 days? You can't listen to music. Or in 3 weeks, you can't listen to music. Or in a sphere, you can't listen to music. What does that have to do with all year round? So first halacha, all year round you can't. And Moshe was very machmir about listening to music all year round. Moshe has a tshuva, and he says tapes, he's not matter tapes, even tapes is not matter all year round. He says, zeichel churban, the halacha is you can't listen. A lot of people argued with him and said you could. So we'll matter tapes.
So what's the significance then of the halacha for the 9 days? There's no difference between the 9 days and the rest of the year.
Music.
Yeah.
And the chanami. The only difference is, in halacha you won't see a difference. The only difference is making chasans.
Right.
Making chasans, you're allowed to play music.
Yeah.
It doesn't say anything in the 9 days now, listen to music. Like you ask a kid, what's in the 9 days? Now listen to music. You look in halacha in the 9 days, you'll never find anywhere an instant to listen to music. It doesn't say that.
For the 9 days.
9 days? All 3 weeks.
It's already.
It's also already. Yeah, it's also already. The issue is, you're not make chasanas.
Right.
That's what it said. You can't make a chasana. You'll never find anywhere in halacha that also to have kli shir in the 3 weeks or the 9 days. You don't find it. You know why you don't find it? Because it's already also beforehand. Even before you weren't allowed to do it. The only thing that was in Toysif in the 9 days was you're not allowed to have a chasana in the 9 days. That's what was added. But some of the music even before that. So they give a tape for tapes. No one's going to come today. Nobody. Most people are going to come today after listening to tapes. But when it comes time to concerts and stuff like that, and even sometimes they're playing music. Even sometimes people enjoy playing music. Sometimes they're not tapes. You have to know it. What? Instruments. So it says if you're doing it for parnasa and you're learning how to play an instrument for parnasa, then you have a heter. Parnasa is mutter to go ahead.
Some people do it for pleasure.
Someone does
relaxation.
So that's the same thing. If it's relaxation, I'm saying that's the heter that the person gives listen to tapes.
I love that.
So if you're going to say, if you're going to say that everything today becomes a refuah, anytime you want to listen to music is a refuah.
Everything's a we are psychopaths.
Yeah. It's the same today.
Hold him away. Move over.
That's the head that they give today for tapes and for music. When it comes time to concerts and stuff like that, where you're not doing it, no one's doing it for relaxation. It's a little more than that. They already, the yesh mokum lesser. Okay, you have to find the heter, what the heter is for you. A lot of places today don't like it. They don't like the people are going all the way to the other end when it comes time to the heter of music. And we have to remember that. The halacha is eichel chorban. You can't just go ahead and play music whenever you want.
What's the position? You go to many, even shuls,
Yeah.
In other words, they
No,
put a sukkah.
something else. Simchas Beis Yisrael is a mitzvah. Simchas Beis Yisrael is something else. That Simchas Beis Yisrael, that's okay. On Pesach, I don't know. You know, Chalamoy Pesach, you're going to have music in schools. I don't know if you're allowed to do that.
No, but sukkah is definitely.
Sukkah is because of Simchas Beis Yisrael. That's where it comes from. That's where they have music in schools.
Pesach was already sure.
No, Chalamoy, you're okay. Chalamoy Pesach allows us to music. Chalamoy Pesach, even though you hold spirit from the beginning. No, if you hold spirit from the beginning.
Yeah.
If you hold spirit from the beginning, you're allowed to Chalamoy Pesach to music. Yeah.
That's why you do it from the beginning.
Yeah, because they have days off in the middle. Yeah. So other times people have music in the shul, and it's not a simcha, and it's not Simchas Beis Yisrael, it's a problem. To have live music, especially in a gathering where it's not a mitzvah, it's not Simchas Chasam V'Kala, there's not such a, you won't find heter so easily for that. And that we should leave something at least, zecher to this halacha of no music all year round. And truly, think about it now, that you ask people, you can't listen to music all year round. No one knows about that. In 3 weeks, you're not listening to music. It's not true.
During the 3 weeks,
So why does
there's a great deal of discussion about instrumental, non-instrumental, tapes, live, all this discussion about the 3 weeks. When you're driving, where does all that discussion come from? If there's a blanket, is there about it?
And it should be just the 3 weeks.
But where does the discussion come from during the 3 weeks, which divides? Well, this you can or that you can't.
Why? You're saying all year round you can't.
Yeah, why is it's
so maybe now that they were matter to listen to music all year round, because Zeichel L'Churban, they gave you a heter, because refu, whatever you want to call it, maybe that heter they're not going to apply to the 3 weeks. Maybe.
I see.
But you won't find this. This you won't find anywhere in the poskim. It's all today's shilas.
Right.
You won't find anywhere in the poskim this chiluk in the 3 weeks, tapes and no tapes.